Hey, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. James Preem with EFI, bringing you another little quick, short video clip about some very powerful tools in the Fiery that you have that helps with your selling. So this is really why sell a Fiery, right? So there are a lot of reasons to buy a Fiery. Most of the reasons, is you need a rip. However, what most people don't realize is when you buy a Fiery, they're getting a lot more than just a powerful rip. And I want to introduce what those other features are that you guys get that you could be using during your sales cycles, right? So let's start with what are the benefits from buying a Fiery? Well, first and foremost, they're recognized as the industry leader in digital front ends. So really, you're in a better position when you're selling, especially in commercial print, to someone. When you're selling a Fiery front end, they know it, they recognize it as an industry leader. They're going to be comparing their capabilities to that of their competitors who are probably using a Fiery. So, it's the recognized industry leader. But also, when you buy a Fiery, you're getting all this other stuff: free color management tools. There's a pre-print print management tool that's Command Workstation. Free variable data print applications. Some of these you guys may not even be aware of. Free production management tools. I'm going to show you that. Free access to our learning center. Again, this helps with your customers being able to utilize all the features in the Fiery by not having to depend on somebody in your own organization to teach them. They can go out to our learning center and learn about all of the features that a Fiery gives them. And then free online help resources. Again, a way for your customers to be more successful without having to engage your resources and tie up your resources time to help them run their business. And then free access to EFI Communities. If you have not been on EFI Communities, that is an amazing site that we now use not only to communicate with other users of Fireys, but also our support group uses that as a way to communicate with customers, technicians, analysts, anyone who's looking for questions to Fiery, answers to Fiery, solution to problems, you name it. Access to EFI Communities is part of that. So let's start with Freeform Create real quick. It's a variable data program that we developed. It's a separate application. It runs from the desktop, and we've always had the ability to do variable, but this now gives your customer the ability to do it as a design tool. So they can now take a document that they designed, they can marry it with an Excel database, a CSV for their variable, and have it overlay on their design document in a very visual way. I'm not going to go into details of this. Anything that you see in this presentation, if you guys want more detail on it, contact me. If you want me to present this whole thing to your sales team, as I'm doing right now, I can do that as well. We can schedule that. But just use these tools as a way to why sell the Fiery. Because if you got a customer, and I'll give you the example here, that if they needed variable data, and they need to be able to do variable data in the way I described, normally they'd have to buy some other additional software like Engageit VDP, Fusion Pro, XMPy, and you can see it gets expensive. Well, when you buy a Fiery, you're getting the same tool to do simple variable data. Now, I'll argue that Fusion Pro and Engageit and XMPy, of course, offer some other things that we don't offer in the free version, but you'll find out that most customers don't need all of that extensive extras. So here's your example is, how do I know? Well, this is your target audience: small office environments, churches, homeowners associations, membership clubs, print for pay, even small commercial printers. What's the triggers? What can you listen for when having a conversation with them that tells you that the Freeform Create is a good fit? We mail monthly newsletters. We send postcard reminders. We mail bulletins to our members. We send this type of work out because we don't have any variable data software, or we do use the mail merge feature inside either InDesign or Microsoft. That's a trigger because even though they're doing it, that is a very inefficient way of doing it. The rip time and file transfer time is a problem, and it has limitations. Okay, so what's some of the other stuff? Well, Fiery JobFlow. There is a free version of Fiery JobFlow, and these are the things that it can do. It can be triggered automatically. It starts a workflow automatically. It can automate some of the pre-press functions that a designer is doing to fix files. You can configure workflows any way you want in order for the files to do what they're supposed to do, be in the right order, in the right orientation, with the right properties, and hit the fiery. It goes beyond what hot folders can do, gives the ability to do proofing, notification. So if you got clients who want to see it before they give authorization to run it, and it allows you to invoke rules to help the automation process that normally would require manual intervention. And it's browser-based interface, which means if I can open up a browser and type in the address of where JobFlow is installed on my network, I can get to this and use it, which means I only need one license for even multiple users. And it's machine agnostic, meaning we can rip it to a fiery or we can send it out as a PDF and then it can be printed anywhere. So what's your target audience? Implant CRDs, print for pay, commercial printers, UPS stores in particular. This really helps them because they're not strong in print. They usually don't have a full-time graphic designer. They get a lot of the same types of print jobs because that's what they advertise. So setting up workflows specific to those 4 or 5 unique jobs means that they don't need an expert to print. It just hits the workflow, it outputs it correctly, and they're done. So again, what are the triggers? We spend a lot of time fixing files. We touch the jobs too many times before it's actually printed. We need a way to automate jobs without having anybody set them up. And it'd be nice if the jobs could route automatically from a Dropbox or an FTP site. That's what JobFlow does. Again, it comes standard with a Fiery. When you buy a Fiery, you have Fiery JobFlow, the free version. And then Command Workstation, again, this is a way to manage the queues, manage the print jobs, manage the activity of the print jobs, manage the activity of the print workflow. Guys, there's other digital front ends that charge you for something like this. It comes free with the Fiery. It's a hugely impactful tool. So some other things you may or may not know about Fiery Go. This is the ability to manage your printers and the activity of your printers from an iPad or an iPhone or Android devices. So even when someone who's a production manager or someone who's in charge of print is away from the office, as long as they have VPN access into their own network, they can browse jobs, they can preview jobs, they can actually process and print or cancel jobs. They can select print settings. If they notice a job's settings are incorrect before it prints, they can change it remotely. So this is a really good way for those customers who are responsible for it, who don't want to be at the office 12 hours a day. They go home in a normal time, but they can still see what's happening in their print organization. Fiery View, another free one. This is a great tool for office environments. This is a WYSIWYG experience where you can see how the job is being laid out, including features that you select, such as stapling in the corner, booklet stapling, punching, wire binding. Whatever it is that you select to set up for this job, it shows you in the view. It gives you a preview of how it's going to look before you print it to the Fiery. So this is the ultimate experience to not using a print driver. And especially in the office environment, what you typically get is, office workers are office workers. They have a specific job that they do, and printing isn't it. But when they have to print these complex documents for a meeting or a proposal or a presentation or whatever, this is usually a struggle for them. Well, Fiery View alleviates that problem because they can take, and when they're building the document, they can import them from a PDF, from a Word, from a PowerPoint, from multiple types of files to create one single document that they're going to output. And they get to see it in live view. So where is this useful? Office environments in particular, implant and CRDs, print for pay, UPS stores again. So what are the triggers? What should you be listening for them to say that gives you an idea that Fiery View would be a good fit, which ultimately says, well, if they need Fiery View, I need to sell them a Fiery controller. We spend a lot of time trying to figure out how to print multiple page documents and getting the layout correct. Trying to print a booklet is difficult using a print driver. That's the number one reason. We need a way to combine multiple file types into one document to print. Fiery View can do that. And using a print driver is confusing. So think about those times that you've heard somebody say that. Remember that Fiery View is free when you buy a Fiery. Then we've got things like EFI IQ. This is a cloud solution that we've launched. It's a suite of applications that we are adding into this cloud The EFI IQ itself is free. Any customer as a Fiery controller can set themselves up with a username and password, and immediately they'll get access to all the Fireys on their network, and they'll be able to use these free applications. So I'm not going to go into detail of what they are, but things like Insight and this dashboard, they'll allow them to see all of their printers on the network, what jobs they're printing, if they have any errors, if it needs paper, if it's out of toner. It'll let them manage the activities and manage the productivity of all their printers on the network. And then it goes much deeper with some paid applications. But what you need to know is that if you sell a Fiery, your customer gets access to EFI IQ free, and then they can pay for any applications that they want to utilize. So then I don't want you guys to be disillusioned. We also have our free e-learning site, all right? This is probably number one in my category. A lot of times someone gets a Fiery and they get a little bit of training from their partner, but it's usually never enough. Okay, they always want more. Well, don't sweat it. When they buy a Fiery, they get access to our free learning site. You should not feel guilty whatsoever to lead your customers to this site. It's free. They can go onto the site and find the training that they want, set themselves up a username and a password, and they can watch as many videos and get as much training on any topic on a Fiery that they want, and they can do it over and over again. So you should be leading and guiding your customers to the site. It's free, it's extremely useful, and this is our main site that we even use for certification for our professional and experts. So then here's the EFI Communities I was referring to. Again, this is also free. If you Google EFI Communities, it'll be the first thing that comes up. And it's just an extremely good resource place to see what other people are asking about, to post your own questions, to get responses from Fiery experts. Our support engineers use it. The technical sales specialists use it. And really, we've furthered this into groups for support for Freeform Create, for JobFlow, for a lot of other things. Technicians or anyone that's Fiery expert can actually open a case from here if they want a support engineer to help them with something. So EFI Communities, again, is kind of becoming the central nervous system for our support system. So then I also want you guys to recognize that there are other sales resources for you. Each OEM we have a dedicated digital solution specialist for each OEM, and their primary focus is their pre-sales focus on increasing reaching your sales goals. So what they can do is virtual demos for you on any Fiery product or solution, and a lot of times they also can be connected to a particular engine that maybe you want to demonstrate to a customer who can't get to your demo site, or maybe you don't have a demo site that has the equipment. And then they will do, application trials and follow-up. So this is like another arm for you, another sales arm, another analyst, if you will. If you don't have an analyst or your analyst is unavailable, you can utilize a digital solution sales specialist. This link up here takes you to a place where you can see their calendar and start a communication session with them and set up a calendar for you guys to do a demo. Also, we have a Fiery Solution Analyst. Again, they are also OEM dedicated, partner focused. So there's one for every OEM specific. And they also are pre-sales focused, but it's on closing large technical opportunities where there's complex workflow integration, automation, third-party apps are involved. Maybe there's an enterprise account that has some security concerns that need some, analytical work done. These are the guys that go that much deeper. And again, you can engage them. Clicking on the link here takes you to their page where you can engage them for conversation about an opportunity you have that they may have to help you with. And then don't forget about the sales development manager. These guys are the ones who are working directly with the dealer and partner direct relations. So the owner of the dealerships, the higher ups in the sales management category, the OEMs at each marketplace. Their strategic business management is what they're doing. They're doing a little bit of sales education and training, and they are territory focused. And here is the current North American coverage map for those sales development managers. So this is always updated on our EFI website in the sales portal, I believe. Then you have fiery technical sales specialists. Again, those, even though they're called technical sales specialists, they still are sales guys. All right, they're pre-sales focused. Their job is to help partners in the pre-sales activity of an opportunity to sell fiery products. They work with the dealers and the OEMs, mostly with the analysts. Um, their specialty is workflow and solution selling. They do technical demos, education, and training, and they also get down into the technical services training for the services operations of OEMs and dealers. And again, they are territory focused. So you can see there's the map for the coverage that the TSS is covering in the States. So also, if you are a selling partner, don't forget about the sales portal. There are a lot of tools in the sales portal. It is OEM specific, so if you're a dealer and you sell multiple, when your sign in, please use your corporate email address so that we know what you sell, so you get access to what you need. There's a lot of tools in the sales portal, so please don't miss that. And then last but not least, just engage your resources. Whether it's an analyst, fiery DSS, or a solution analyst, or the SDM or TSS. What you don't want to do is lose an opportunity because you missed something, and you missed it because you were going after the business and you're just trying to sell on price, and then you find out later that if you would have added conversation about variable data print and informed your customer that, oh, well, the type of print that you do really fits this freeform create that's free when you buy a fiery, your solution becomes more powerful. So I just don't want you guys to miss out on opportunities by not understanding that when you sell a fiery, you're selling more than just a controller that does color management. There's so much more in a fiery, and almost all of the other additional things in a fiery that helps an organization is free. And the ones that are not, you will find through the process of doing the analytical work using the DSS or an SA or your own analyst. So hopefully that was good for you guys. If you have any questions, reach out to me. I'm more than glad to help you with any questions you have or point you in the right direction. Thanks. Have a great day. Happy selling.